Hi, folks. I'm Bob Hales, and welcome to the Tinfoil Hat Club. Hi, folks. Welcome again to the Tinfoil Hat Club, a weekly political internet show. It's regularly simulcast on Tuesdays on the Common Sense Conversation blog at commonsenseconversation.com and on the Cantankerous Old Coots blog at cantankerousoldcoots.com. It can also be found at other times as the situation warrants, or more likely if I just feel like doing an extra show or two. You can always also find it on the YouTube channel, The Coffee Club. I'm Bob Hales, and I'm your host here on the Tinfoil Hat Club, and my goals when I do this show include highlighting government waste, corruption, ignoring the Constitution, and things that are perfectly legal but that are wrong morally or wrong ethically or, in your gut, just plain wrong. Second, I want to piss you off at the things I highlight. I want you mad enough so that when the show is over, you're ready to do something beside bitch and complain. As far as bitching and complaining, I'm going to follow my daddy's advice. He always said that if all you did was bitch and complain without offering solutions, you were part of the problem, not part of the solution. So I'm going to try my best to do what other blowhard commentators and pundits don't. I'm going to offer specific, common sense solutions about a specific issue, if I succeed in pissing you off as intended, that you might use. Now, I do try to give you, the individual listener, a way to make your voice heard and make it actually count, besides exercising your right to vote. You do vote, right? If you don't, then just shut the hell up. If you can't be bothered to spend a lousy hour or two voting every 2 years, you don't have a damn thing worth hearing. Now, the first thing you can do for every issue I bring up, if you feel moved to do something about it, is to go to commonsenseconversation.com and look over there in the right sidebar, and there's a widget titled Find Your Congress Critter. Use it. The info that you enter isn't saved. You haven't signed up for any mailing list. It's going to fill your mailbox with unwanted mail. It's just a tool to find your representative and senators for you. Their name, their district address, their email address, and their phone numbers. And the same information for their Washington offices. Use those addresses. Use those email addresses. Use those phone numbers. And if you call their offices, ask when they'll be in your area, making a public appearance, town hall meeting or something. When they know or even think that just maybe somebody might be at an appearance to call them on their shit, it does have an impact, believe me. Now, this next idea I got for you, some folks call it unethical. I don't. I call it playing their game using their rules, but just turning them to your advantage, not theirs. Lie to them. Hell, they lie to you all the time, so lie back. If you see something or hear about something or I tell you about something, anything that isn't right, if I tell you something that just pisses you off, but it's being introduced by a senator from across the country, say a senator in New York and you live in New Mexico, well, call their office anyway and tell them you live in their state or their district if it's a representative, and tell them that you vote, and you'll be happy to help fire them in the next election if they don't quit pissing away your money or giving the country to China or whatever it is you're calling them about. Now, there's one other thing you need to know about this show before I get started. I am not politically correct. A person who tells a lie is not misinformed or avoiding certain facts like other politicians and many political commentators say. They're just damn liars. Just plain damn liars, and they'll be called out as such here on Tinfoil Hat Club. In particular, I cannot stand the phrase "with all due respect." When an elected official or a government bureaucrat, or anybody else for that matter, wastes tax money, ignores the Constitution, or does things that are just plain stupid, I'll be damned if I'll show them any respect, or even pretend to. That's bullshit. I was born without a single politically correct bone in my body, and I haven't grown any in the 57 years since. So if you don't like what I say, tough. You have no constitutional right not to be offended. Another thing my daddy always taught me, he was career military, and he said respect is something you earn, not something you just get. So to hell with all due respect. Now, let's see if I can tell you all a few things that might get you to take a little bit of action. Actually, today I'm going to surprise y'all. I'm going to set you back on your heels. See, I actually support Barack Obama on a thing or two. Now, that's not too surprising, I suppose, because there's an awful lot of things that two completely different people can still agree on no matter what. Everyone, left or right, would agree that folks need air, water, and food to survive, for example. Now, see, there's a place right there where even the most greedy capitalist pig and the most left-wing bedwetting communist can agree. We all need food. We all need air. We all need water. But I take it even farther. I support Obama politically as well. Or at least a part of his agenda. Yep, sure do. You know that fair share mantra he just keeps on spouting? That everyone needs to pay their fair share? Well, I agree. Everyone should pay their fair share. Now, where he and I part company is in defining just what exactly constitutes a fair share. Now, according to the IRS figures for 2008, the bottom 50% of income earners in this country paid less than 3% of the taxes collected, while the top 50% paid over 90% of all taxes. Now, that's proof that Obama is right. The tax system is not fair. The bottom half's getting a free ride carried on the backs of the top 50%. And the top 50% isn't even Obama's rich yet. They make an average of $43,000 a year. Half this country making $43,000 a year and up carries the other half of the country. Now, that's just not fair. Now, we'll go with what Obama's talking about. You know, he don't want to soak those people making $43,000. He just wants to soak the rich. Make sure they pay their fair share. I'm going to agree with him there too. Sounds fair to me. But that means the less fortunate, as he likes to call them, and there are less fortunate. I don't mean to say there's not. But a hell of a lot of them are just sitting on their ass sucking on a government tit because they can get away with it. And paying their fair share means that those folks are going to have to start ponying up. See, that nasty, nasty, evil, bad top 1% of earners paid 38.2% of all taxes. 1%. The richest 1% paid 38.2% of all taxes. And that's just not fair. They don't get anything special for all that extra tax they pay. A rich guy doesn't get his own special army brigade to protect him, or, you know, he doesn't get an F-22 and a B-52 for his personal defense. He gets the same thing as everybody else. He gets the same thing as those damn freeloaders, the bottom half that don't pay a damn thing. And that's just not fair. So maybe we ought to spread it around some, but spread it around the other way. Spread some of the tax burden around. That rich guy, he gets the same roads to drive on as you and me and the sorry bums that won't work. He has the same police department. When he calls 911, same police department shows up to help him out. He doesn't get his own special police department. When he flies anywhere, he has to follow the same Federal Aviation Administration rules. He's got the same limits put on him as everybody else. It's not like us peons have to do 55 miles an hour and he gets to do 155. So there's really nothing fair about that 1% toting 36% of America on his back. 1% of earners paying 1% of taxes is precisely fair. So the half of the country that's freeloaders better get off their wallets and off their asses and start paying their fair share. Now this has just been a rant, just a bitch. And I tell y'all that I propose solutions, so I got a solution for today's complaints too. A solution that you can be involved in. Go over to commonsenseconversation.com and use that little widget in the sidebar and call your Congress critter. Now, if you're a member of Congress, your senator, your representative, spouts the fair share bullshit right along with Obama, let them know that you aren't as stupid as those Zuccotti Park occupiers, and that you recognize the solution is less spending, not more taxes from anybody. Less spending. When you give them more taxes, if they soak the rich, you really think they're going to use that to cut our deficit or anything? No. Every damn time you give those bastards in Congress any money, they just find another way to spend it. So you make if you have a representative or senator that thinks Obama's right about soaking the rich, you just tell them they need to just go on back and do your work, not Obama's, that they represent you, not Obama, and they need to start cutting spending, not taxing more. Now, if you're lucky enough to have Congress critters that have already rejected Obama's lies and are against raising taxes, call them too. Let them know you support them, because I'm going to tell you right now, they need the encouragement. Encourage them to keep it up, pushing for the smaller, less intrusive constitutional government. And the reason you need to call them is because the few good Congress critters in Washington are under one huge shitload of pressure to knuckle under to the big government types, the leadership of both parties. There ain't a snowball, there ain't any difference between John Boehner and Nancy Pelosi, except for one of them's female, one of them's male, and one of them has a D in front of her name, and one of them has an R in front of his. They're both big government folks. Same thing goes for Mitch McConnell in the Senate and that jackass Harry Reid. Ain't no difference. Party leadership is what's going to kill us, both parties. So if you got a representative or a senator that actually knows what the Constitution says and believes we should be living by it, call them and give them your support. Now that's about it for today, folks. Don't forget the widget over there. Get hold of your Congress critter. And don't threaten them, but just, it's okay to be kind of intense. And remember, every contact you have with any elected official, any government official of any kind, every contact, I don't care if you see them in Julie's coffee shop having coffee tomorrow morning on your way to work. Before you walk out, you walk over to them, you grab their hand, shake their hand, say, we appreciate you doing a job for us in Washington, but you need to make damn sure you remember, and look them right in the eye and tell them, we don't work for you. You work for us. So y'all have a good day. And we'll see you on the next show. And until then, don't forget, y'all come back now. You hear?